Welcome in, belly up, have a seat, and grab a drink as we talk some Wingman fantasy football. Welcome into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. I am your host, Michael Furley, and as always, I'd like to thank all of you, or any of you who may be watching or listening to today's show. This is episode 77, week 14, ins and outs, and this is our very first live stream of the League Podcast. So I want to thank all you guys who are out there watching us live, and it looks like it's just my wife so far. With that being said, guys, before we get any further along, let's make sure that everybody is in the room.
Wingmen assemble!
All right, this is the final week of the regular season of the fantasy football season, and we have the playoff push is live and well, as we have 3 teams who have secured their playoff berths for the playoffs. We have 2 teams that have been eliminated, and we have 5 teams fighting for our last 2 spots. Before we get into how that's going to occur, let's see who's in or out, who's hurt or not in this week's Actives Inactives. Let's start with our teams that are on bye this week. We have the Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders are both on bye this week, which means there's no Kyler Murray, no James Conner, no Sam Howell, or no Terry McLaurin. As for other players, this is in our IR section. We have Josh Palmer, whose 21-day window was opened, is not been activated quite yet, so he's going to miss another game. Also, we have Darren Waller, also on the IR, is not going to be activated for this week. However, we have Tyrod Taylor, New York Giants quarterback, is going to be activated this week, but he's going to remain the backup as the Penguin, Tommy DeVito, is going to get the start for the Giants on Monday night against the Green Bay Packers. Also, we have Dawson Knox, Buffalo tight end, has been activated for this week's game. Activated. All right, as for now for players that are going to be out today. Pardon me one moment there. All right, so Taysom Hill is inactive today, as is his teammate Rashid Shaheed for the New Orleans Saints. Isaiah Pacheco is out for the Kansas City Chiefs. Christian Watson is not going to play for the Green Bay Packers. Elijah Mitchell is listed as doubtful and most likely going to be out as they have 4 o'clock game. And Jonathan Taylor is also out this week. For players that are questionable, we have Geno Smith is questionable with a groin injury. He is going to test his groin out during the pregame warmups to see if he's able to play. And Aaron Jones is also questionable for Monday night, and that's going to affect the lineup for Katie's King George, but she has the backup plan in A.J. Dillon. As for players that are going to play today, Trevor Lawrence is active, although hobbled on a bum ankle, but he's going to play against the Browns today. Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker for the Seattle Seahawks are both going to play today, which means they're going to split time, which makes that not very good for Team B's last chance to get a win this season. Zay Jones is going to play today, I think. Joe Flacco is going to get the start for the Cleveland Browns, and Justin Jefferson, I just love this sound so much, is going to play today as he is officially been activated. All right. Noah Brown is going to be in the game today. Dallas Goedert is making his return. He was never placed on IR with his broken arm. He missed at least 3 games. It might have been 4 in the end, but he is going to play today. Jerick McKinnon is going to play today for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's big news because Isaiah Pacheco has already been ruled out. Chris Olave is going to play today. Also, Travis Etienne is going to play. Let's see. Breece Hall is going to play today. Zach Wilson is back as the starter for the New York Jets. Amari Cooper is going to give it a go today for the Browns. Derek Carr is going to make it back into the lineup, and he is going to play. And we have our Dolphins on Monday night as Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, and Tyreek Hill are all going to play on Monday night. All right. I know when I do these playoff scenarios, 1, they're hard to follow. 2, I'm wrong half the time. and it's very confusing. So we're going to do this the simplest way possible today, as we have 5 teams battling for our last 2 playoff spots. And we're going to tell you what's up for grabs today. Let's start with for a couple teams that have actually already clinched their playoff berth. We have Paul's Cubert Rage and Jimmerson's Red Sox Nation are both live to get the division winner, division lead today and be the winner of the odd division and take home that regular season payout. If Paul wins, it is his. He will be the division winner. If he loses and Red Sox Nation wins, Red Sox Nation will be the odd division winner. Both these teams have already secured their first round bye, as they are going to be the 2 or 3 seed, depending on how today goes. So good luck to both you guys. There's actually some money on the line before the playoffs start, and that's today. As for our next team up, we have Alex's They Took Our Jobs is in 4th place at the moment, and he is up against Red Sox Nation, and he is going to need to win to get into the playoffs. If he loses, he can backdoor his way in, but it's going to be tough. So essentially for Alex's They Took Our Job, he wins and he's in. He loses, he's going to need a lot of help. On to our next group of players here. We have in 5th place, Nick's Waddle Away, and he's playing against King George, who's in 6th place. Both these teams have 7-6 records, and it goes this way. The winner is in, the loser is all but out. If King George loses, she is out. She does not have enough points to make up the ground. If Nick's Waddle Away loses, he can backdoor his way in, but he's going to need a lot of help. Let's go over how They Took Our Jobs and Waddle Away can back their way in with a loss. For them to get in with a loss, they would need the other player in that scenario to also lose. So if Alex loses, he needs Nick to lose. Actually, it doesn't matter because he has Katie. One of those teams is going to lose. So actually, so for Alex, if he loses, he would need Corey to lose and Reggie's Lion Eyes to lose, or if Reggie wins, to not outscore Alex by 20 points. As for Waddle Away, he's in a similar fashion. If he loses today, he will need Alex to lose. He will need Corey to lose. He will need Reggie to lose or not have Reggie outscore him by 16.5 points. So there's a way to get in there, but you're going to need 4 things to happen to get into the playoffs, those guys. So just take care of business and you're in. On to our next guy here. We have Corey's Mac Daddy 2s. Congratulations to you, sir. You know what I'm referring to. Corey's Mac Daddy 2s is at 6-7, and he can get in today, but he does need a little bit of help. If he wins and Alex loses, he is in, because Mac Daddy 2s is by far way ahead in points of all these guys. So if he can get a tie at 7-7, he will win the tiebreaker with points. So he needs Alex to lose and him to win, and he is in. For Reggie's Lion Eyes to make it, he will need to win. He will need Alex to lose, and then he will need Corey to lose, and he will need to outscore Alex by 20 points, and King George to lose. On the chance that Waddle Away does make the loss, he would also have to outscore Waddle Away by 16.5 points. So it was still just as confusing, hopefully a little clearer. Let's just go over this one more time in the simplest ways without the points and all the other stuff. For Alex, you win, you're in. You lose, you're most likely out. Katie's King George, you win, you're in. You lose, you're out. Nick's Waddle Away, you win, you're in. You lose, you're most likely out. Corey's Mac Daddy 2s, you have to win and you need Alex to lose. Reggie, you have to win. You need Corey and Alex and Nick to win, and you need to outscore Alex by 20 points. All right, guys. I would like to bring in a guest into our very first live stream here. I want to welcome in Mr. Jimmerson, a.k.a. Red Sox Nation. Welcome in our first guest to our live stream today, Mr. Jimmerson, a.k.a. Red Sox Nation. Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, Mr. Commish. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. You're excited? You got a lot to play for today? You got a chance to get in the money on the regular season payout?
Yeah. Today's going to be a big day, right? We got big matchups. A lot of movement can happen. And I'm looking for a Paul loss so I can slide into the division winner and take home some dollars.
There you go. Yep, you're going to need Paul to lose, and you are going to have to win. That's the only scenario for you to win the division, but it's right there in front of you. And like I said earlier, I was looking at the projections here, and right now you are projected to, you're down, but only by 1.5. And Paul's Cuba Rage is down by about 1.5 as well. So it's very close projection wise. But as we know, projections are pretty much meaningless.
Exactly. Although we all look at them, right? We all want to have that better, higher projection going into the game.
I set my lineups based on that power ranking.
Absolutely.
And
it's how I make critical decisions.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we have 5 teams fighting for 2 playoff spots today. So you're not worrying about making the playoffs, as with your win last week and your 3-game winning streak, you have clinched the playoff spot. But we have a lot of managers who are going to be sweating throughout the weekend.
Yeah, it's nice to have already clinched a spot, knowing I get the bye next week, no matter what. Still a little stressful. I am playing for that division championship, so I'm really, putting some thought into my lineup and making sure I can put the best starting 9 or whatever it is out there.
So with that being said, yeah, are you locked into your players this week? Or you're going to tinker up to the last minute?
I'm pretty much locked. I think the only position I'm looking at currently is James Cook, maybe changing for Zay Flowers. They both are different types of players. Zay Flowers may have a higher ceiling, but he's very risky. Cook, he just slides in and gives you those even points every week, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. So I don't know. It looks like a good matchup today with Kansas City. You could, high scoring game. So hopefully there's plenty of points for Cook in that game.
You say that in years past, that Kansas City Buffalo game would be penciled in as a 55-point over/under, but I've watched Kansas City a lot this year, and they're pretty hard to watch.
I know. Well, I'm calling it from the heart here. I'm not using the head. I'm thinking that I'm hoping for a big time points for.
So it sounds like you said you're pretty much locked in your lineup with a little maybe a one spot, your second flex kind of thing. Or is there anyone on Red Sox Nation that you're worried about? Any of his players that scare you?
Oh, you mean Paul's team?
No, what did I say?
Oh, my players.
You're playing. No, sorry, I misspoke. You're playing against Alex. They took our jobs as team.
Oh, Alex, sorry.
No, that's my fault.
Yep. Yeah, obviously it starts with the quarterback, right? Jalen Hurts is a scary guy to play against. He could, obviously put up 12. The Dallas defense is pretty good, and he can also put up 50. So, 3 tush-push touchdowns, and I'm done. So
yeah, exactly. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that you just want to survive. You can keep him under 23 points. You feel like, all right, that's not the difference maker today.
Yeah, and he's got Cooper Kupp. Tough matchup against Baltimore. Alvin Kamara can scare me a little bit. I mean, not a little bit. He's playing Carolina today,
right?
So
right.
That's a pretty good matchup for him. So we'll see. I got a lot of guys going into Monday night, so I always like that last minute push for points at the end there. So we'll see how that goes.
That's one of Bernie's big tips, is to have as many players as you have going as late as possible, so you have the hope, keep that hope alive. And honestly, I would say there's been as many, if not more, comebacks on Monday night than hold-offs this year.
Yeah. Well, look, I got 2 Dolphin players playing Monday night, and with that offense, and they're playing at home. I mean, Hill and Mostert could each score 2 touchdowns each in that game. So even if I'm down by 30, 35, it's not over by any means. Oh, I have Jordan Love going Monday night too, by the way. So my quarterback's also going that night. And they play the Giants. So there could be a lot of points Monday night.
And it's a good situation for Love. And I've been, you kind of look at your players at this time of year. It's almost a good thing that that the Eagles lost last week, because it means Jalen Hurts is going to have to play, for Alex, that is anyway. He's going to have to play in more meaningful games later into the season. You'd hate for those guys to start resting players as they get into the later playoffs for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I play in another league. I have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. So when they lost, I was like, good. That means he has meaningful games coming up.
I know. I got a bunch of Niners, and I'm like, that 3-game losing streak was actually pretty darn good, because everything's in front of them, but they've got to pretty much win out and hope for some help. So they're going to go for it.
Exactly.
So I think you were telling me before that you're going to be at the Dolphins game on Monday night. So you're going to see this in person.
I have tickets to the Dolphin game Monday night, actually field passes. So I'll be down by the field, but I'll get to witness my hopefully championship run in action.
So are you going to slip a little note to Mike McDaniel, say, get Mostert one more?
Totally. Absolutely. Exactly. Keep beating Hill.
And that's another good thing about just situationals for the season. Like with Hill going for this 2,000 yards and having it in front of him, they're gonna. I mean, obviously anything can happen with just the way the game goes, but like if he needs 60 more yards to kind of keep him on pace, they're gonna try to get it to him. They're gonna throw him 2 more passes they may not have otherwise.
Let me ask you a question. What's your strategy with Derrick Henry this week? Are you playing him?
So no, at the moment I'm not. I have awful matchups this week over just the red, the green. If you look at that Jonathan Taylor injury, he was going to be my number 2 running back, and it was going to be between Jacobs and Henry, and because Henry's been you can almost tell when he's going to have a good game.
Yeah.
Because it's based on if the games are close, if they're winning, and if it's they can't come back. So I don't like Henry against the Dolphins.
No.
I don't want Henry to be hurt, but if Henry was hurt this week, I would have played Tajay Spears in that spot.
Yeah.
Because he plays when they're down, and without Henry, he would play when they're tied. And I don't think he has the touchdown potential that they give Henry the ball a lot inside the 10, but he could take a screen for 25 yards any one of those times in a game where they're throwing all day long.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's a good matchup too. That's why I was asking.
And then
once they get down, they're going to be throwing a lot.
Exactly. So I was looking for a way to not play him, but I was going back and forth once he got healthy. But if he was out, it was definitely going to be Spears. And then with I like Javonte Williams. I've been trying to get him in, and every time I play him, he has kind of an 8-point game. But Samaje Perine supposedly is banged up, although he's going to play. So I'm hoping that will take some of that pressure off of other backs getting work, and they're playing the Chargers. So this might be that one random Javonte Williams 30-point. I'm not expecting 30 points, but if he's going to get it, this would be the one to do it.
It's the Broncos. Who knows? It's Russell Wilson. Who knows?
Well, that's the other thing. I was not this week. So I'm debating on playing for defense Miami, who's been great, because Tennessee Levis can make mistakes because he's rookie, but he's been playing enough, so I don't think he's a smash play. But I have the Browns, who haven't been good lately, but they're playing against Jacksonville with a banged up Trevor Lawrence. So he's either going to be a statue. I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth with that one myself.
I'm not, even though he's probably going to play, I'm not a big fan of playing Jaguars today. We'll see. But going back to defense, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm actually not playing the Dallas defense.
I did notice that. Yes. Especially after our little, a little experiment there and having to put him back on your lineup. I was like, oh, he actually is playing him. I guess he did need him.
I listened to your podcast. I took your advice. I tried it. Didn't work, but
sorry.
It was worth a shot.
That's part of my strategy, is to sabotage all the other managers, tell you things that don't work.
It's okay. It may end up working out for me because Team B picked up Jarrett McKinnon, and that was the guy I was going after. So hopefully he does well in his lineup against Paul's team. Get me that L over there.
Would you have considered playing McKinnon, or was this kind of a block move?
I don't know. I might have considered it. It would have been a decision between McKinnon and Cook.
Right.
I do like McKinnon last year towards the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Was a target monster, scored a bunch of touchdowns. We're getting into that area, especially with Pacheco hurt, where McKinnon could play that role again. So I was really surprised to see him there on Friday still. I thought he was going to be gone by then.
Every time we have one of these guys get picked up, usually by Team B, I'm like, oh, I thought that guy was already on someone, because usually they're on Team B's roster 6 weeks ago. I just assume they're still there.
Exactly.
And
and Edwards-Helaire got picked up last night or whatever it was.
Yep.
They were both out there. I just didn't want to. There was really no one I wanted to drop.
Right.
But once I heard the little trick with the kicker and the IR, I was going to try it. But
yeah. And it's like clockwork with Kansas City. It used to be Damian Williams for 2 or 3 years, and now it's been McKinnon. That once it comes to, I don't know if it starts this week or in 2 weeks, but about this time towards the playoffs, they just go to their guy who doesn't get any work all year, and they just and they just ride him out. And those guys are superstars generally in the NFL playoffs.
Exactly.
But you might get some work in the fantasy playoffs as well for those type of players.
Watch, McKinnon will drop 26 today.
Well, that's what you want. I don't know if he's in his lineup, Team B, but
I don't know. Team B, if you're out there, take a look. He's probably going to drop 26 today.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you helping me out on our very first live stream of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League podcast. You're good luck today. I know you got some money in your future, but at least you're going to have a bye next week, no matter what, so you can relax and take a week off and just enjoy the sweating managers that are fighting for that playoff spot.
Absolutely. Good luck to all out there.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mikey.
All right. All right, guys. We were going to have another guest on today, but unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties as Katie's King George was trying to join us. It was my fault. I made some mistakes in our technical aspects here, but we did go over her team as she needs to win to get in. And if she loses, she's out. And she was started the season 6-1. And now it comes down to the last week where she has now lost 5 out of 6 games, but she wins today. She is good. All she has, and she gets her number 1 pick back right in the nick of time. Can Justin Jefferson be a full season bust or a season savior? We will find out today. So if you have your rooting interests, keep in mind that Justin Jefferson may be a hero or he may be a GOAT, and not the good kind of GOAT. All right, guys. So I've noticed some new news while we were going through that interview a little bit as I was glancing up. It says Geno Smith is trending in the wrong direction. And the reason I know this is that we have gone as I went to the game day page. So let's check out Wingman Fantasy Football. Wingmanentertainment.net/game day and go ahead. This is where I go to get all my news, guys. I swear to God, I built this so I don't have to go to other places. So if you go to this site here, you can find it by the top tabs up here are different sections of Wingman Entertainment. So our podcasts are in this gray section right here, podcasts, and then our poker for those who play poker, but Wingman Entertainment game day right there. And when you go to this page, you can link right to your Yahoo page with this purple trophy over here. On the left side has news. On the right side has Twitter feeds from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. But here's the big time addition we made about 3 to 4 weeks ago, maybe a little longer than that. The inactive list, and it populates right when they are placed in. So at about 11:35, 11:40, depending if the game starts at 1:05 or 1:15, they're right in here. So you can double check who's in and who's out right there. Also further down in this page, there's comments if you want to leave something, more Twitter feeds on the right side. And you can check all the weather. These are all weather tiles. So I'm looking here. I see a cold game in Kansas City, but no wind. It said it was going to be bad weather today. The only place I would look at would be New York. In New York, says it's relatively nice, at least for right now. So I don't see any weather problems. But go to Wingman Entertainment /game day to get your up to the minute information and check and double check those who's active and inactive today. All right, guys. So with that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so very much. This was a big time experiment doing a live stream. This way I can have a longer episode, a little more in depth. I don't have to worry about getting it posted by 12:30 because you're watching it live with me. So you can find us here on, don't forget, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts. We are now on YouTube Music as they're going to start migrating Google Podcasts to YouTube Music. So I'm actually ahead of the game on one of these things. So now that's why there are redundancies in our YouTube page. If you see a pillar box thumbnail, that means it's audio only. I will try and make that more clear going forward. But if you want to find our video feeds, go ahead and go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@Wingman Entertainment. Wingman Fantasy Football. Of course, you guys are there right now if you're watching this live. You can also see all of our audio and video at wingmanentertainment.net/podcast. Leave a comment on any of those platforms and you will get your comment put into our next mailbag segment. Thanks again to Michelle for checking in on our chat and keeping an eye on that for me. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching our first live stream, guys. I hope it went off okay. And with that being said, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty, and we will see you next time.